Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to give 6 reasons why people seek out an autism diagnosis. My name is Dr. James Thatcher. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I work at Forest Psychological Clinic based up in Portland, Oregon, and I've been doing these autism assessments since 2016. At this point, when this video is made, that's almost 10 years, about 9 years if I'm doing math correctly. I think I am. So I've done literally thousands of these. I've done around 2,000 of these evaluations. So some of the common things that I hear and that I see after someone gets an autism diagnosis is it's validating. They've been going through so much stress and invalidation over their entire lives. They may have thought that, there's something wrong with me, that I'm crazy. All these sensory sensitivities that I have, or me not being able to connect with other people or make or keep friends, like there's something wrong with me that's been going on, or I'm crazy, when in reality, they're not crazy. It's just how their brain works. It's just who they are, and it's not a bad thing. In fact, there's a lot of strengths that can go into that, because being able to see the world and interact with the world in a different way, it's beautiful. It makes the world a better place. And unfortunately, the world is ran by neurotypicals, and it's not very accepting of people who don't fit inside of that box. So having that validation is key. And right then and there, sometimes I will see folks, they'll hold it in for a couple minutes and they just break down and start crying just because it's so powerful for them. So reason number 2 that I see people come and get an autism diagnosis is to get support. So sometimes folks are facing burnout at their work and they really need things to be changed up. And with folks on the spectrum, this can give extra support there because it fits what's called the American Disabilities Act. So where your workplace should be able to accommodate your needs to make sure that you're a success there. So if they've got god-awful fluorescent lights that are blinking above you, or lots of social demands when things could be changed a little bit to where maybe you don't have to show up to all those social functions, or to be able to wear noise-canceling headphones at work. Those are some common ones. There's some other things as well. It really just depends on your workplace, and it really depends on what your needs are and the different manifestation of the symptoms are of autism. But a lot of people seek accommodations. Reason number 3 is better mental health treatment. And this is actually one of the biggest recommendations that I give at the end of my evaluations is to find a therapist that has a background in working with folks on the spectrum, because they're going to be able to tailor treatment and they're going to be able to see you accurately, much more accurately than someone who approaches you like you're neurotypical. So pretty much any good therapist worth their weight should be able to work with you on anxiety or depression. But a therapist that has a background in working with folks on the autism spectrum, they're going to be able to see you through that lens first. That way they can approach treatment differently, word things differently with you, and work on different strategies that can help. A couple of those, and this is not exhaustive, is mindfulness, skills-based training. There's also a really good evidence-based therapy called radically open DBT. You may have heard of DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, but radically open DBT, or RODBT, is specifically geared towards folks on the spectrum. And it's been evidence-based, and they've done studies on this to where it can improve symptoms of folks on the autism spectrum. There is no cure for it, nor should there ever be, but it can help with being able to pick up on social cues, be able to engage in conversations. A lot of feedback that I've gotten over the years, and a lot of folks that I've worked with, either in therapy or during evaluations, they'll tell me something along the lines of that they'll over-police themselves when it comes to having a conversation with folks, to the point they just don't say anything because they're worried that they're going to come off as weird or awkward. But what this teaches you is that everyone's a little quirky. Everyone's a little weird. And it's okay if you let that come out. That's a part of you. That's a part of your personality. And it's a beautiful part of you, and it should come out. So number 4, and I kind of went into this before, is about workplace accommodations, but not just that, but like social adjustments that you may need to have. So I already talked about workplace accommodations. So let's talk a little bit about social adjustments. So getting this autism diagnosis can really help you speak with your family and your friends and help them kind of understand. Like, let's just say your name is Dan. Dan isn't just anxious. Dan isn't just ignoring me. Dan has a social communication disorder like autism. So it kind of helps other people understand a little bit better, and it helps you be able to communicate your needs a little bit better. And that kind of leads me into my point number 5, which is improve relationships with other people. I've had a number of patients come in here to where their spouse thought that they may be on the autism spectrum. I had one person literally tell me during feedback, "You saved our marriage," because she was viewing her husband in such a way that it's his fault that he's not communicating. It's his fault that he's so rigid. It's his fault that he's not complimenting me every day like I want. And understanding that he's on the autism spectrum, she was able to take his perspective a little bit and understand, oh, these are difficult issues for him. I need to word things a little bit differently. I need to change some of my expectations in this relationship in order to make it work. Or not just be able to make it work, but to be able to empathize with them, to use empathy and understand where they're coming from. That's huge in a relationship, to have that level of understanding. And last, and definitely not least, number 6 would be empowerment and self-advocacy. This gives people the ability to talk about their needs to other folks in order to advocate for themselves. No, I can't do it this way. I need it to be done this way. Or to have the ability to go into the workplace and change things around to accommodate you. Maybe be able to work from home a little bit more and be able to advocate for yourself with your employer, with your teacher, with various people that are out there that may have just thought, oh, well, they're lazy or they're not doing the job. Well, false. This is what I need in order to be successful. And there are plenty of people out there in the world to where when environments can change a little bit to accommodate their needs, they just blossom. Getting this diagnosis is a life-changing situation. It's very profound, and it's an honor of mine in order to be a part of it. And I hate to make the end of this video a little dark, but I tend to have an analogy that I like to use and I keep in mind is that giving this diagnosis to other people, to me, is more serious than giving a diagnosis of cancer. Because this is a lifelong thing. Cancer is going to resolve in one way or the other. Either the person passes away, they die, or it gets cured and it's over and done with. Autism is a lifelong issue. And I want to make sure that if it is going on, you get the help that you need. If it's not going on, what else could it be? So guys, if you really like this video, please hit like or subscribe. The YouTube algorithm really enjoys that. I also have some other videos on here about mental health, particularly in adolescents and teens, along with some other videos about autism. I hope to see you there. Bye-bye.